Welcome back to 02 Million Crypto. My name is GC. We are live. Yes, we are live. Joining me as I just finished work. Today, let's talk about crypto and war. And why, when you have situations like we've seen yesterday, where Hamas has attacked Israel, and we are currently in a situation like the war between Ukraine and Russia, how to navigate markets during times like these, and why war, any kind of war, only delays the inevitable. So, war is one of those things that if it's happening in a certain area of the world, or even if it's happening in your own backyard, if you don't have any power or say in the conflict itself, you are but a bystander to a situation that, even if it is your country that's involved, or you are related to a nation or, militant group, or however you could be affiliated with a, one side versus another. The thing you need to understand is that you can't change anything if you are on the outside looking in. Sure, you can have your opinions about the war or whatever war conflict is going on. You could, spread political messages because, there's social media nowadays. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion about what's going on, no matter what the conflict. But as an investor or as just an everyday citizen, you can't control anything that happens in a conflict. So the point of this video is to explain that when you have countries that are, or nations or groups that are fighting, when you're on the outside looking in, you have to continue to try, especially when it comes to investing, you got to try to stay focused on what your goals are, and you got to try to, it's hard to explain because when it comes to war, anything can happen. I mean, one nation can attack another and it can affect the markets, drastically, either up or down, depending on the situation. But most of the time in a situation like war, for anywhere on earth, it's going to affect the markets negatively, because war overall is not a very bullish thing to be happening when markets, don't know which way they're going to go. I mean, even in the stock market, there's a lot of talk that there's going to be a massive market crash, and the market right now is a house of cards. And even though the economy seems to be pretty strong, or at least people are still working, maybe they're not making as much money as they need to survive. People are still working, and the workforce is still somewhat strong. So you run into a situation where people are still working, people are still trying to make money, people are just trying to survive, and you have these conflicts that, like I said, could either be on the other side of the world or in your own backyard. And because you have no say or way to interfere, or you just have no power or control over what happens in these conflicts, you have to just try to stay focused on what you are trying to achieve. And in investing, like right now, I mean, for crypto, we're in a situation where Bitcoin has been so stagnant and the least amount of volatility it's ever had pretty much in its history. I mean, even in previous bear markets, there were more relief rallies, and there wasn't as much of a time like we're in now, where markets just don't seem to move one direction or another, or if there is a pump, it's so minute, or if there is a dump, it's not very big. So, right now we've been hanging around the 25,000 to 30,000 US dollar range for Bitcoin, and the rest of the market just seems to be in the dumps. So it's interesting how you have all these different conflicts. Like, I mean, Israel and Palestine have always been going at it ever since Israel's existence. So the war that may be starting after the incident we saw yesterday, because things could probably escalate after what happened today, especially in Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine has been, this is what we're hearing out of the mainstream, guys. I mean, you only know for sure or for real if you're there. Like, nobody knows everything just by watching the news. But it appears that Ukraine is losing, and Israel, I've seen news articles this morning where Israel may strike back against Hamas. So when you have a situation like where wars seem to be, in motion, the main thing is to understand that even if markets go down, even if things do become a lot more bearish just simply due to these conflicts and situations that are completely out of your control, you need to just stay focused on your goal and keep doing your research. And in my opinion, in situations like this, buying Bitcoin instead of other coins may be the safer play to be making. Like, I still do advocate for buying altcoins. I still am buying altcoins personally. The last time I got paid, I pretty much only bought Dogecoin. We're going to get into why I'm so bullish on Dogecoin probably in a later stream or video. But buying Bitcoin right now is probably the best move, in my opinion, if you are looking to invest in crypto right now. I mean, a lot of people right now would say because of these wars, maybe it's not a good idea to put your money in the markets. Like, we could see more downside because of the situations these wartime situations that we're seeing. And I do agree with that to some extent. I mean, when wars happen, it's never good. Like, there's always going to be some sort of hiccup or monkey wrench in everyday economics, simply due to one country not wanting to help another, or one country giving more aid to another. And we're seeing that a lot of these countries, for example, like Ukraine, like, they're getting aid from America and they're getting help from America, but they still seem to be losing the war from what the news is portraying. So for someone that lives in North America like myself, that's not a very good sign when it comes to our geopolitics in North America. And I could say a lot more about what I really think about the political situation right now. I could give my complete thoughts on what I see happening, with these different kinds of militaries. But at the end of the day, this is a crypto channel, and I want to focus on more on, just the crypto aspect, the investing aspect of these scenarios that we're in. And, there have been wars. I mean, 100 years ago, guys, there was a world war. And then a couple years after that first world war ended, there was a second world war. So world wars are a lot different than these wars that we're seeing today in the news. I mean, after, the events of 9/11, America went into a lot of countries in the Middle East. And it's been, 22 years since that event happened. So, there's been a lot of conflict since, and people have still found ways to, everyday people have still found ways to invest their money and find success. You got to be able to, continue to live and work and research whatever you believe is going to be the next big thing when it comes to money, even though all these, what it seems to be horrible things are happening throughout the world. So it's just one of those things, guys. Like, you can't control it. You can't control when something is out of your control. Is there really a point on dwelling on what may happen or what may not happen, because let's say something really bad happens for wherever part of the world you're living in. So like, for example, if you live in Ukraine and Ukraine ends up losing this war, your country may become war torn, and the political and economic environment that you may live in may turn into a nightmare scenario compared to most countries on earth. I mean, your country is literally losing a war, and you're just a citizen just trying to survive and probably take care of his family and try to find a way, maybe find a way out of that country or situation that you're in. I mean, it's just one of those things where you gotta, pay attention to what's going on around you, and maybe look to make a move, either leave or, find the most safest place for you and yours. And, if you do have long-term investments, if you are investing in something like crypto, making sure that your family and your situation in real life is intact before you could think about something like investing in crypto and stuff. But, a lot of people are investing in crypto, which is my next point, as in my belief, we already are at war when it comes to our money. I mean, like I said, like, war is war. So you're either part of one side or another, or you're just an innocent bystander, even if your country is the one in the fight. But investing in general is the war for the everyday citizen. So what I mean by that is, look at the money system that we're in now, guys. This is basically the money system that we have in a nutshell. We have the Federal Reserve in America that literally can print money whenever they want, as much as they want. The Federal Reserve can raise or decrease rates, which also greatly affects the markets. They have a 33 trillion, I believe. America is $33 trillion in debt as we speak. And the numbers are telling us that they're going to be accruing at least $1 trillion of debt every month now. Like, guys, that is unsustainable. And that's probably the reason you're in crypto to begin with. I mean, a lot of people understand that the money system we're in now is just basically a scheme. And, you could argue everything or anything is a Ponzi scheme to some degree. And I guess that's the kind of argument people make against crypto. They like to say, Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme because someone needs to buy it for the price to increase. And a lot of people get hurt because they buy when, they first hear about it and it's probably on its way up. And then that's when it's overbought and the market comes down and they're left holding a bag. Well, the problem is the other system, because, investing in crypto is not like investing in stocks. Like, this is why they call it digital currency, because you're basically investing in another type of money. Like, a lot of people only see like different currencies, like, for example, the American dollar or the Canadian dollar. Like, those are currencies to them. But people that open their mind enough to understand that cryptocurrency is a currency as well. Those are the only type of people that are actually going to throw their money into something like crypto in the first place. Because if you don't have a belief in something, you're not going to actually live it. So people that have been buying, crypto any time since its existence, and I mean, it's still new. Like, I'm older than crypto. I'm 27 years old. Bitcoin isn't even 15 years old. So, like, I'm older than this asset class. And that, putting that into perspective on its own is kind of hard to think about. Like, I'm older than the entire crypto space. So it's like, all this stuff is still new. I mean, years from now, maybe 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now, almost the entire world could be invested into crypto, and they could be saying to, their children or to just younger people in general, yeah, like, crypto has existed for years now, so it's safe to invest into it, like it's stood its ground. Like that might be the talks that are being made like later, along the line of crypto's existence or lifetime. But right now we are still in a period of time where people still think that it's risky. Like there are actual people out there that believe that Bitcoin can go to zero. I mean, they think the entire space can go to zero. And I agree with a lot of things that people say, where they say, oh, there's all these shit coins and there's no use for them, and they're being propped up by people with money, or the holders themselves are trying to prop it up so people will buy their coin. And meanwhile, when it comes to real life, like these coins, they're not going to have any use, and they're just kind of a money grab. And for a lot of these coins, especially as you go further and further down the list of cryptocurrencies, I do agree with them. I mean, a lot of these coins I would never touch with a 10-foot pole. I don't think they have any future. Like, there's always going to be more and more coins being made and more falling by the wayside. And in my opinion, there's only like a handful of coins that I believe that are actually even worth investing in or even talking about. So yeah, like there is a lot of stuff going on right now, especially like people just making coins that are pretty much worthless in my opinion. So crypto is a thing, and it will continue to grow, and you're gonna have these periods of time where like the next time that crypto and digital assets go through a stagnant period like this that we're seeing now, it could be years. So you might be investing right now and saying to yourself, oh man, this market doesn't want to move, and there's all these socioeconomic factors that are just driving markets down and keeping them down, and the money that I'm making is barely enough to survive. How am I supposed to invest my money into something when it's hard enough just to make ends meet? But that's what I mean by we are already at war with our money. Like, if you are buying crypto, you are at war with the fiat system. You are at war with the the traditional way of using your money. And the way I like to think of it is, when I first found crypto, it was like, okay, it was the light bulb moment. I remember the first time I ever saw CoinMarketCap with my own eyes, and this is when crypto was doing very well. So maybe that added more emphasis to what I was seeing. But when I saw that crypto was like an actual market where the price, like, because when I heard about crypto for the first time, I didn't think of Bitcoin and digital currency as, like, I didn't think of it as the way that I saw CoinMarketCap, where all the coins are just laid out from number one to whatever the last place coin is. And you could just see the price, and you could see the price move, and you could see the market cap, and you could see, how much it went up. Like, when I first saw that, I was like, wow, this is an actual market. It's not some scary thing that they were making crypto out to be. Like, crypto is just these guys in their mom's basement sending these funny internet coins to each other for nefarious things on the dark web. I mean, that's the vibe you get, or at least I got, before I actually looked into what crypto was. So yeah, we are like, even from the beginning of time, since money existed, guys, like, your time and your labor is your war. So like, you could go to work, make your money, it gets deposited into your bank account, or whatever. You get your check, you deposit it into your bank account. And from what you do with your money from there is completely, like, whatever you do with your money is like a war move. Because you could buy anything. Like, you could buy collectibles, you can buy stocks, you can buy crypto, you can buy gold and silver, you could buy, you can invest in real estate. And all these things, all these options that you have, depending on what time, like what kind of time era that you're in, like whatever market is the most popular at the time, like whatever move that you make with your money is like a war move. So you got to say to yourself, what can I do with my capital right now that's going to propel my life forward in the future? And right now I do believe that next big move is cryptocurrency. And there's a lot of things that I am interested in, like there are stocks that I'm interested in, but nothing comes close to cryptocurrency because it has the opportunity, maybe not every crypto, but successful cryptos that can solve the trichotomy of decentralization, real life use case, and like just I forget what the last one is, scalability. If it could scale, if it's decentralized and it has real world use case, it could literally take over, the system that we have now. Like the fiat system that we have now, guys, it's just information. It's just ones and zeros being sent, and it's not actual value. Like if I were to send you an e-transfer, the money shows up in your account, like the transaction is real. And you may argue that crypto is the same thing. Crypto is just code. But when you send your Bitcoin to somebody, that's value. You are sending the actual coins that have value without a middleman. And that's something that I don't think the majority of the world, even the people that took their time to research Bitcoin and crypto, I don't think they understand that when you send crypto to someone, you're sending a token of value that could fluctuate, and it's not a system of information. It's real money. Cryptocurrency is real money. Forget what anybody tells you. Don't let anybody tell you that digital assets aren't real money, guys. And you got to be strategic with, like I say all the time, your next move is always your biggest move, your most important move. Like buying any cryptocurrency is like an act of war, because you're saying, I believe that this cryptocurrency I will be able to use in the future. I will profit off of it, and it's going to, propel life forward with this technology. And when you start seeing crypto in this kind of light, you're going to start saying, okay, every time I have money in my hands, the way I deploy it is super important. It's make or break. It's if I buy Bitcoin today and it's at 25,000 US dollars, and in 2 years it's at 200,000 US dollars, that it could change your life significantly. And a lot of people that are financially illiterate or weren't brought up with parents to teach them, how to do business well, or how to invest their money, or why, just saving your money for a rainy day is important. Like, once you figure out cryptocurrency for what it is and understand that this system of money is where we're moving into as society, like this is going to be the next big thing, and being responsible and just understanding how to manage your money in this new digital world is going to be so important, guys. And you're investing in an asset class that's barely 15 years old. You should be proud of yourself. You should be saying to yourself that this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to go to war with the fiat system that has been holding us back for so long. I mean, our money's not backed by gold or silver anymore. It's pieces of paper, and the government has the opportunity now to even come out with a CBDC where they could manipulate us even more. And you may argue, well, that's the problem with crypto. They can invent a CBDC and just have total control over us in a completely digital world. Yeah, but there are crypto that you could buy right now that isn't controlled by the government, that is decentralized, that is, your opportunity to invest and basically give the middle finger to all these centralized entities that want to control, how your money is being spent, or how it, they're basically controlling you with your own capital. And like we said in earlier videos, guys, you can have a bunch of money in a bank account, go to a bank, try to get the money, and they don't have to give it to you. In fact, they can question you, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, think about having your money having all your money pretty much in a cold storage wallet, all basically almost 100% of your net worth in crypto, and although the dollar amount can change and fluctuate every single day, you own it. So it's like, yeah, I want to take responsibility for my money. I want to be my own bank. I want to go to war with the traditional financial, systems, even if I'm not in a war with guns. Even like, war can be fought in many different ways. Like, this is a psychological battle. This is a psychological battle. This is a money battle. This is something that people have been, dreaming of for years. There were probably people before crypto exists that died before even crypto became a thing, before Bitcoin was even born. And they were saying to themselves, damn, I wish there was a system that I could take my money, or a system that I could put my money into and take it out of this centralized nightmare that we have now. And guys, it's only progressed worse and worse. Fiat money will only get worse and worse. They're only going to print more of it at the end of the day. If they don't keep kicking the can down the road by printing more money and just trying to keep their system alive, something will break, and their system will crash. It will crumble. Like, the fiat money system is a house of cards, and you could almost think of it as like, if Bitcoin goes up, it's kind of like, it's just offsetting the fact that how negligible our centralized systems are with these massive money prints, and and when the federal government does, or the American federal government or Federal Reserve does print all the money, in turn the rest of the world has to print money to get on even keel, because most of the trade right now is being done in US dollars. And that's a whole nother story on its own, because now you have something like BRICS, or I believe it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're all saying, well, we don't need to trade in the US dollar anymore because of how negligible you guys are towards the rest of the world. Like, your power shouldn't be able to, stand over the rest of the world if you're not going to be responsible with the money. And, even people in those countries, if they take their wealth and put it into cryptocurrency, they're telling their own countries that even though right now America's in control over, like, the global money system, basically, we don't trust our governments either. And we're going to take our money and put it into something decentralized, where even if the power turns to another country's government, they won't be able to have complete control over how their wealth is affected. So guys, you got to understand that you are just an individual, and you're up against not only other individuals, but against the system itself. And if you don't change your system, you don't realize that, hey, this is kind of like a war for my time, effort, and, labor. If I'm going to work and all the money I make is being dwindled down and, manipulated, and I don't even have full control over my money, you're never going to go from 0 to $1 million in crypto.